Texas Longhorns superstar quarterback Quinn Ewers decided to return for one more year of college football. Hey, good news for Longhorns fans, but not great news for Arch Manning.
What does his returning mean for Arch Manning at Texas?
That's the $64,000 question.
If Manning does the right thing and enters the transfer portal, which schools should be on his wish list? Well, here are 5 teams for Arch to transfer to, and 5 other major programs that he should stay away from. Go to Michigan. With J.J. McCarthy officially declared for the 2024 NFL Draft, the reigning national champions need a new starting quarterback. If the season started today, Jaden Danikel would probably get the starting job, with Alex Orji backing him up. Fortunately for the Wolverines, the season is a long ways away, thus giving them ample time to find and develop their new starting signal caller. By committing to the Wolverines, Manning would be playing for a marquee program that is annually in contention for the college football playoffs. Top of that, they constantly boast one of the nation's elite defensive units, meaning there'd be less pressure on Manning to single-handedly win games with his arm. The Wolverines might also be keen to add a pure pocket passer like Manning to open up the offensive playbook. McCarthy had his limitations and was essentially a game manager in a rush-heavy offense. But Manning's presence would allow Michigan to run a much more balanced attack. The possibilities would be endless for Arch in Ann Arbor. Avoid Alabama. At first glance, why wouldn't Manning want to join the nation's top football program? They're a national championship contender every single year, having won 6 titles alone in the glorious Nick Saban era. Well, there's actually a couple things here that make Alabama a not-so-ideal landing spot for Arch. For one, they already have an established superstar signal caller in Jalen Milroe, who nearly guided Bama to a national championship appearance this past year. Milroe isn't about to relinquish the starting duty job, so why would Arch want to go somewhere else just to hold a clipboard again? Secondly, the GOAT himself retired, and some of us remain skeptical that Kalen DeBoer will be able to sustain the historic winning culture that Saban built in Alabama. What would possibly draw Arch there other than the school's winning history under Saban, who is no longer there? With Milroe essentially locked in as Alabama's starter for 2024, Arch has an easy choice to pass on what the Crimson Tide might have to offer. Go to Ole Miss. Grandfather Archie and Uncle Eli Manning both starred for the Rebels football program. Father Cooper was a standout wide receiver prospect who committed to Ole Miss as well, but he had to retire before beginning his career after getting diagnosed with spinal stenosis. So if Arch wants comfort and family familiarity, heck, why not Lane Kiffin's Rebels? Ole Miss has a safe starting QB option for 2024 in Jackson Dart, who came over to Mississippi in 2022 via the trade transfer portal after 1 year at USC. But like the aforementioned J.J. McCarthy, Dart comes with his limitations as a pocket passer. Kiffin might be keen to bring in Arch and give him a shot at the starting QB1 duties. Also, it already bodes well for Ole Miss that star wide receivers Trey Harris and Jordan Watkins already announced that they're returning for the 2024 season. Manning would have 2 big-time pass-catching weapons that would help ease himself into Kiffin's offense. Avoid Texas A&M. Staying in the Lone Star State might fascinate Arch, but a deep dive into the current state of the program would hopefully scare him away immediately. The Aggies fired head coach Jimbo Fisher in the midst of a frustrating 2023 season. They even paid out $77 million to get rid of him, which says a lot about the dysfunction of this program right now. Mike Elko is the new head coach of the Aggies following a successful 2-year run at Duke, but keep in mind that his background is entirely on defense. So there's a question to be had if he's the right coach to maximize Arch's skill set. Also, the competition for the Aggies will be much tougher in 2024, with the Texas Longhorns and Oklahoma Sooners both set to join the SEC. As well, Texas A&M number 1 receiver Anaya Smith has declared for the NFL Draft. Add it all up, and the Aggies simply do not make sense for Arch right now. Go to LSU. The Tigers developed Joe Burrow into a 5-star signal caller, and 2023 Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels will likely be a 2024 first-round pick. With Daniels officially declaring for the 2024 NFL Draft, the starting quarterback job is wide open. Garrett Nussmeier is the way too early favorite to open 2024 as next year's starter, but we're talking about a guy with very limited experience at the NCAA level. Manning can come in and challenge Nussmeier and AJ Swan, who arrived from Vanderbilt via the transfer portal, for the starting job. Also, Manning would have the luxury of working with one of college football's premier offensive-minded coaches in Brian Kelly. Avoid Oregon State. With superstar signal caller DJ Uiagalelei transferring to Florida State, the Beavers could use a big-name prospect like Manning to take over the offense and bring some more national exposure to the Pacific Northwest. Losing DJ via the transfer portal was already a blow. Then head coach Jonathan Smith left the program after 3 straight winning seasons for the Michigan State job. Oregon State also lost its top receiver Silas Bolden to the Texas Longhorns no less in the transfer portal. The second-best receiver, Anthony Gould, declared for the 2024 NFL Draft. So like the Aggies, the Beavers have a limited offensive weaponry and a giant question mark at head coach. Go to Tennessee. Back to the family ties route. Arch's uncle, Peyton Manning, was a star for the Tennessee Volunteers program. Volunteers already need a new quarterback after Joe Milton III declared for the NFL draft. Backup, Nico Iamaleava, the current projected starting QB for Tennessee in 2024, led the team to a blowout win over Iowa in the Citrus Bowl to close out the 2023 season. But adding some QB competition isn't a bad thing for head coach Josh Heupel and company. Iamaleava unquestionably has high upside, but you also want to be careful in not rating too much into just one game. Squirrel White, the team's #1 wide receiver last season, is returning for 2024. And on top of that, former Tulane standout receiver Chris Brazel II joined the Volunteers via the transfer portal. Heupel is a proven offensive-minded head coach who did wonders with Oregon QB Dylan Gabriel and current Seattle Seahawks QB Drew Lock, who had a phenomenal career at Missouri. Manning would be joining a prolific offense with a head coach who can easily maximize his talent. Oh, and did we mention that Uncle Peyton was a star here as well? If he does transfer, the Volunteers ought to be on Arch's short list. Avoid Washington. What a brutal month it's been for the Washington Huskies. First, they get crushed by Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines in the national championship game. Then they lose beloved head coach Kalen DeBoer to Alabama after Nick Saban retired. But oh, it only got worse. As everyone expected, superstar quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and wide receiver Romeo Odunze, a likely top 10 pick in 2024, declared for the NFL draft. Another dynamic receiver in Jalen McMillan and top offensive lineman Troy Fautanu also declared for the draft. Standout wide receiver Jeremy Bernard also decided to jump ship and enter the transfer portal. And this is only on the offensive side of the ball we're talking about. With that, why should Arch have any interest in playing for the Huskies? The Huskies are also moving to the Big Ten Conference for 2024, a place where the competition grows immensely. Look, just add it all up and there just aren't a lot of reasons that should inspire Arch right now. Go to Ohio State. Despite a stellar 2023 campaign at Ohio State, Kyle McCord entered the transfer portal and took his talent over to Syracuse. So with that, this quarterback factory school should be all over the Arch Manning recruiting train. Devin Brown, who saw limited action over 6 games in 2023, is the early frontrunner to open next season as the Buckeyes starter. 5-star recruit Aaron Noland should also get every opportunity to succeed McCord too. But if Manning were to join the Buckeyes, he would be in an excellent position to take over that offense. Buckeyes are a 5-star program led by one of the nation's best head coaches in Ryan Day. They churn out explosive pass catchers and running backs like clockwork, and they'll always be in contention for a national championship. Add it all up, and we can only ask this: what's stopping Arch and the Buckeyes from uniting? Avoid Georgia. A heartbreaking 3-point loss to Alabama in the SEC championship game ended the Bulldogs' bid at a third-time straight national title in 2023. Still, Kirby's smart squad remains the class of college football, and they head into next season as the consensus favorites to win the national championship. So, why wouldn't Arch want to come here? Well, there's the main obvious reason. 2023 starter Carson Beck passed on the NFL draft and decided to return another season. The Bulldogs' success also stems from a suffocating defensive unit. Even Stetson Bennett, who quarterbacked Georgia to consecutive national championships, was merely a 4th-round pick in 2023. Point is, Georgia is not the ideal program for a top-flight QB prospect like Manning to hone his craft. The Bulldogs are always going to be a defense-first, run-heavy team as long as Smart's in charge. Arch is only going to maximize his potential if he goes to a system that perfectly suits his talents. Being nothing more than a game manager in Georgia is not a way of getting the most out of the third-generation QB. But which other schools should Arch Manning transfer to, and which ones do you think he should avoid? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.